I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Beautiful day in the neighborhood and wonderful internet issues, so keep our fingers crossed. New appointments to the commission. Mr. Hollenbeck, would you please be so kind?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we've received an appropriate certificate of appointment from the LaPorte County Council designating Mike Mollenhauer as their representative to the commission, and it is in proper form. And he should be seated as a member of this august body.
And is he on board right now? In our session, I can't see the entire.
There's no action you need to take. His certificate of appointment is statutorily proper, and he becomes a member upon our receipt of it.
I don't see him unless he's there and can speak
I
forward.
understand. I just want to welcome him on board if he happens to be on the meeting. I don't see.
Mike is on.
Okay, well, welcome aboard. Are there any other appointments, Mr. Hollenbeck?
There are none that I am aware of.
All right. Next, thank you very much. And the next item is roll call and approval of the minutes. If there are no objections to the minutes as they are presented, we'll take the roll call.
*6 when they call my name.
Okay, I'm going to start with roll call now. You can just simply say here or I. Kyle Allen. Dwayne Art.
Here.
Jeanette Bapps.
Here.
Janet Beck.
Here.
Jeff Benson.
Here.
Jim Biggs.
Here.
Kevin Brightsky.
Here.
Charlie Brown. Robert Carnahan. Bill Carroll. Anthony Copeland.
Bob Carnahan.
Josh
I've got Bob Carnahan is here.
Bob Carnahan. Thank you, Bob. Jocelyn Denham.
Here.
Tom Dermody.
Present.
John Derwinski.
Sure.
Dinah Dumbris.
Here. Present.
Denise Ebert. Bill Emerson. Robert Forster. Michael Griffin.
Here.
Great. Richard Hardaway. Richard Hardaway.
I see him. He's still muted. There he is.
Here.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. Tony Hendricks. Eric Hall. Jack Geralds. Justin Keel.
Present.
Andrew Kiris.
Here.
Robert LeMay. Sue Lynch.
Here.
Sheila Matias.
Present.
Tom McDermott. Lori Mercer. Wendy Miss.
Here.
Mike Mollenhauer. He's here, right? He responded earlier. Mike Mollenhauer. Right here. Edward Morales. Matt Murphy.
Here.
Dwayne Perry. David Peeler.
Here.
Bob Paparad. Jim Pressel. Jerome Prince.
Here.
Rick Rifa.
Here.
Tom Schmidt. Tom
I see him.
I do too.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Brian Snedecor. Steve Spebar. Greg Stinson.
Here.
Gerald Swets.
Ryan Blazak for Gerald Sweat.
Okay, thank you. Sharon Zuido. Mary Tanis. Jim Tunn.
Present.
George Topple.
Here.
John Yelkich. Has any other commissioner joined the meeting that I did not call or call before you joined?
Candace, this is Jim Biggs. Can you hear me?
I can, Jim.
It might be helpful if we're going to continue the Zoom meetings to acknowledge that you're hearing our responses, maybe with a thank you or something, because I'm sensitive about whether or not you can hear, what I'm saying at any given time. I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, one moment, please. I show we have 26. We need 27 for a quorum.
You can count me twice.
Oh,
Mr.
welcome.
Chairman,
Glad you're here.
Mr. Chairman, I should mention Bill Emerson is at Kankakee River Basin this morning. I chose to be with you folks, so
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I didn't realize they scheduled it at the same time. I thought we had addressed that a while ago that not
we
happening.
kind of had, this is the exception to the rule, and Bill has officer responsibilities this morning at Kankakee River.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does Representative Pressel include as one? Would that give us a quorum?
Yes.
It would for another number, but I just to be clear, I appreciate that that Gerald Sweats has someone else on the call, but unless that's a formal appointment from that municipality, that does not count.
Right, and I did not count that.
Candace, could you perhaps read all the names that you are showing present and we can confirm that everyone was heard?
Yes. This is the, I'll be naming the commissioners that said that they were present. Dwayne Arndt,
I'm here.
Jeanette Baps, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Janet Beck,
Yes.
thank you. Jeff Benson. Jeff Benson. I know he's here.
Representative Pressel's going to come on. He's leading a meeting.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Jim Biggs,
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
thank you. Kevin Brightsky,
Yes, I'm here too.
thank you. Robert Carnahan,
Here.
thank you. Jocelyn Denham. Jocelyn Denham. Thank you. Tom Dermody,
Present.
thank you. John Derwinski,
Yes.
thank you. Dinah Dumbrus,
Yes.
thank you. Michael Griffin,
He's muted.
You're muted, Michael, but I saw your lips move.
okay, thank you.
Sorry, yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Richard Hardaway,
Yes.
thank you. Justin Keel,
Present.
thank you. Andrew Kiris,
Here.
thank you. Sue Lynch,
Here.
thank you. Sheila Matias,
Present.
thank you. Wendy Miss,
I'm here.
thank you. Matt Murphy,
Here.
thank you. David Peeler,
Here.
thank you. Jim Pressel,
No, that's.
Here.
Yes.
thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Jerome Prince,
Yes, still here.
thank you. Rick Rifa,
I'm still here.
You, Tom Schmidt.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Greg Stinson.
Yep. Still here.
Thank you. Jim Tunn.
I remain present.
Thank you. George Topple.
Yes. Yes,
Has any other commissioners joined that I did not call your name?
Kathy has put in the chat that Bill Emerson is in the meeting but muted.
He has joined the meeting. Okay, thank you. So we now have 28.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. I agree with that.
So now
Mr. President, Michael Griffin of Highland moves that the minutes be approved.
we have a motion for Michael Griffin with the minutes.
Second.
We,
Second.
and we have a second.
Yes, you have a second. Second.
All right. Is there any?
Mr. President, was that part of a consent agenda?
Again, please.
Was that part of the consent agenda? I don't have that in front of me.
Well, I stated that if there was no disapproval to any portion of the minutes, that we would consider that the roll call.
Okay. I see. I beg your pardon. So they're adopted under general consent. I withdraw my motion.
Well, that's fine. Either way, we appreciate your esteemed knowledge and assistance.
Just to note, the items to be voted on further on the agenda are all under a consent agenda.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Ty. All right, so the minutes are approved, and we'll move on with, are there any people with public comment? Anybody signed up for that? Believing there are none, I'll just make a statement. Members of the audience who signed up to comment on agenda items will be recognized by the chair. And their time is limited to 3 minutes, and commenters must indicate on the sign-in sheet, or however we do it now on the internet. So the report of the chair is that we're soon to be out of the woods on this internet, and we'll be meeting in person before too long, but it's still not clear as to me when that's going to be. We've made a lot of progress in a number of different items, and I want to welcome the new members that have joined our group, and thank you all for being here, because it's most important to have our full commission quorum. Thank you. Next, I'll move along to turn it over to Ty Warner for further information in the staff service ward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just 3 quick items: RLF, invest, and raise. Those are the 3 magic acronyms. First, for the RLF, which is Revolving Loan Fund, we were happy to launch Recover NWI. These are funds that were available from the CARES Act through the U.S. Economic Development Administration for loans for businesses and organizations throughout Lake Porter and LaPorte. Some of you may know we have administered a LaPorte County revolving loan fund for some time, but thanks to the CARES Act, that has been expanded to all 3 counties, and that program has just launched under the Recover NWI banner. We've been getting the word out through press releases, through other organizations that have helped spread the word, and this can be of benefit to residents and businesses in your own communities to take advantage of these loans that should help greatly with pandemic relief, those that have struggled to get started under this situation. Dennery Kane is our Economic Development District Coordinator. She has a spot later on the agenda, and I'm sure we'll hit this again, but I just want to, it's worth hitting twice, because this is over $500,000 that we're able to spread across those 3 counties to help small businesses get going. So that has just launched, and we're really pleased about that. Invest is the next acronym. I'm going to kick it over to Charles Bratsky. If Charles can jump forward. Thank you, Charles, and give you the update on that. Thanks to Representative Mervan. Charles.
Good morning. Thank you, Ty. Invest in America Act stands for Investing in a New Vision for the Environment and Surface Transportation. It's a transportation bill that's passed the U.S. Congress and is being sent over to the U.S. Senate as we speak. Currently, we believe it is being viewed as favorable by the Senate. So Invest is is going to be bringing $19 million, is being brought to the region in earmarked funds for 4 different projects. From our understanding, will have to be obligated by the end of federal fiscal year 2024. These projects were requested by, as Ty mentioned, Representative Mervan. These projects are $8.1 million for the Kennedy Avenue Bridge over the Little Calumet River. This project is to replace the bridge with a higher clearance over the waterway to prevent closure due to flooding and heavy rainfall events. This project also promotes Federal Highway's new emergency events, weather events regulation. So that basically is Federal Highway doesn't want to keep rebuilding projects because of extreme weather events. Funds are for additional design work, namely the NEPA document, construction and construction inspection. It went out for letting earlier this year, but it came in much higher than the engineer's estimate. So $7.4 million for the Willow Creek Road Extension, Phase 2. Willow Creek Road Extension corridor will eventually go from 700 North in Portage to US 30. Phase 1 from 700 North to State Road 130 is currently funded with STPG dollars, funds granted through last fall's NERC's DOFA. Phase 2 will get the new road through the town of Wheeler and over the railroad tracks. $2 million is for the aid in the reconstruction of Central Avenue in Portage from County Line Road to Willow Creek Road of this corridor. Currently, the section from Brant to Peach is in NERC's TIP in 2022 and 2023. So those of you in Portage, there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming to this road, much needed, I might add also. And lastly, $1.5 million for 45th Avenue in unincorporated Calumet Township between Colfax Avenue and Whitcomb. This is the last phase of this reconstruction project, and it has experienced an increase in its latest estimate. So this is going to assist in that estimate. And this project is expected to go to construction next spring and be completed hopefully by next fall. All right.
Great. Thanks so much, Charles. And again, just to express our appreciation to Representative Mervan for these projects. It's good news for Northwest Indiana. So appreciate those efforts. The last acronym I want to talk about is RAISE, which is Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity. That was formerly known as the Build Grant, which was formerly known as Tiger. So this is another funding program through the feds that we've availed ourselves of in trying to get funding for the Marquette Greenway. And I just want to thank Mitch Barloga, Peter, Scott, Kathy on our staff for the efforts in getting that application in. I'm going to switch it over to Mitch real quickly to say a few words about that application, which just went in Friday. Mitch, or Monday.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ty. RAISE is the newest name for what used to be called Tiger and Build. The Biden administration changed the name. It's an acronym, of course. Probably the key bit of that acronym is the last letter E being equity. And we did submit for the Marquette Greenway the completion of the trail. It's 26 remaining miles of the trail are still in need of funding. We have 36 of the miles already either completed or completion of funding. And that's a total of 60 miles from Chicago to New Buffalo. So in all, 17 projects have been identified to finish the trail. That's just over $40 million worth of projects. And we did a great job in accumulating the local match with different sources, local sources and some private sources involved. And we were able to bring the local match to about 47%, roughly 45, 46% of the entire project. So we have a raise request of about $23 million. And that was submitted on Monday, and we're hoping to hear the news on the project later this year. This is our 4th submission, so as they say, 4th time is a charm, or at least that's what we say. And we'll be letting stakeholders know soon. I do want to thank everybody on the call who did submit letters of support for this project. I know many are on this call right now. We really thank you for your timely assistance towards this project, and we hope to share some good news with you later this year.
Great. Thanks, Mitch. And thanks again for, couldn't say that loudly enough. Just everyone has rallied together to get this application in. And as Mitch said, we hope this time is the charm. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Back to you.
Okay.
Ty,
Yeah.
would you announce about the new personnel that's going to start Monday?
Yeah, we have hired a new director of transportation. His name is Thomas Dow, and he'll be starting on Monday. So we're thrilled to have him on board, and I'll look forward to introducing him to you all once he actually gets going here. So we're thrilled to have that key position filled, and you'll get introduced to him at the next meeting. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Warner, is there a staff service award that?
Thank you for reminding me, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that. How could I not forget, especially because I think Iman, who is the subject of this staff service award, is on this call. So sorry, Iman. Iman Ibrahim, I think a lot of you have worked with in various capacities. She staffed our land use committee, and you would have worked with her on some really key important projects that NERC has done, including some TOD, Trans-Orient Development Planning work she's doing right now, the e-commerce report that received a recent award from the National Association of Regional Councils for that effort. I think you received a presentation on that at a previous meeting. And you may have been involved also in the regional corridor study that NERC had done, among many other things, going back to the Creating Livable Communities program when I first started. So Iman has really been a key component of making sure that NERC expands its focus to recognize all the intersections that transportation has with land use, and make sure that our planning component is well represented. So Iman has been with us for 15 years. As of July 6th, I believe, is the start date. So just want to recognize Iman and thank her for her service. And I believe she's somewhere in this call amongst these grids. So Iman, if you're present and want to wave or say howdy, just so folks can see your picture if it pops up.
Yeah, and thank you, Ty. I'm glad that I'm working with NERC for 15 years. I spent like 30 years in the States, so half of my life I spent it with NERC, which is great. And I'm going to continue with NERC and doing a great job.
Great. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Congratulations, Iman.
Thank you.
Very good. And with that, I think that's the end of my report. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Iman.
With that, the Environmental Management Policy Committee, headed by Bill Emerson, has the next item on the agenda, which is on pages 5 and 6, if you printed them out. Bill, are you there? Kathy Luther, Bill Emerson.
The contents in the packet are the minutes from the May meeting. In June, we had a presentation about a project that Joe Exel partnered with Porter County Soil and Water District to identify suitable places for wetland mitigation. And I've heard a lot of positive feedback on that project. So no items of decisions are needed.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kathy. Next items will be all under consent agenda. So we'll take one roll call at the conclusion. The first item is Finance and Personnel Committee. Mr. Stinson, would you please take that away?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Personnel Committee met this morning to review the financial reports for May of 2021. The committee also reviewed the bank reconciliations and approved the claims registers for May. There are 2 action items for consideration by the commission today. The first item is 2021 budget amendment number 1. This amendment looks to reallocate $75,000 of planning communication budget line to the planning contractual budget line. Talea Jones will speak on this request.
Good morning, everyone. The proposed budget that we have for our 2021 budget is to transfer funds, like Greg stated, from our planning communication budgeted line item to our planning contractual expense line item to cover a potential contract that we see forthcoming later in the year. So we need this approval so that we can transfer funds within budgeted line items.
And entertain a motion to, for approval, or that, correction, this is a consent agenda item along with the rest of them. Is there anything else, Delia?
Greg, you're muted.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Somehow I got muted. I was just saying that the Finance and Personnel Commission forwards this for the consent agenda with a favorable recommendation. And the second item being brought before the commission is a contract for the South Shore Clean Cities. Kathy Luther will present this to the commission.
Yes, good morning. The South Shore Clean Cities contract is our annual contract. It's a vehicle to pass through congestion mitigation and air quality funds that they have applied for in the TIP through the competitive project selection process. Their total contract is for $438,300. Of which they will be reimbursed $350,640 of federal funds, and the balance is their match. For this contracted amount, they provide air quality public education in the form of advertising and social media. They support Partners for Clean Air on our behalf. And they're building a website for all of the different air quality sites to have as one hub. And in addition, they work with all of you with your fleets, as well as private fleets and many of the private sector fleet operators and the Port of Indiana and other places around the region. So to help them reduce air quality emissions. So that is pretty much the scope of the contract.
Thank you, Kathy. The Finance and Personnel Committee brings this before the commission with a favorable recommendation as well. And that concludes my report.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Stinson. That will be part of the consent agenda items, and we'll move along to the Technical Planning Committee. Kevin Bretsky. Mr. Bretsky, take it away, please.
The Technical Planning Committee met on Tuesday, July 13th, a couple of days ago. Staff presented on NERC's Marquette Greenway Raise Grant that you just heard about from Mitch Barloga. If you want to know more, there's a PowerPoint on the NERC webpage. Under Mobility, look at Raise Grant. By the way, the Raise Grant, which is Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, is just a continuation of two other programs. The Build program, better utilizing investments to leverage development, and the Tiger grants, which were transportation investment generating economic recovery. Since 2009, different administrations have awarded over $8.9 billion in grants in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. So this $23.1 million request is relatively small. It was submitted July 12th, as was reported. And we'll move on to the next good news for the region. Invest in America Act, which was passed by the U.S. House of Representatives on July 1st. And here again, we should be thankful to Congressman Van for looking after our interests with the $19 million grant. And you heard from Charles about that good news. And of course, this bill still goes to U.S. Senate for their review. And if you have any other questions, contact Charles Bradsky. Under the consent agenda, there is one action item recommended by the TPC and an item of information. And staff will present on each of these. Is staff there?
I'm here.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure, so. Good morning again. Amendment number 1 to the 2022 to 2026 TIP. While NERC awaits approval from NDOT, Federal Highway, and Federal Transit Administration on the 2022 to 2026 Transportation Improvement Program, we still need to move forward and amend the TIP as needed. When we submitted the TIP originally, which is what they are looking at, we submitted it back in February 15th, I believe. So a lot has changed since then. We do expect our approval on our TIP any day or week now. And when it comes, this amendment will continue on and be processed into the State Transportation Improvement Program, or STIP. So amendment number 1 contains the following for fiscal years 2022, 2023, 2024, 25, and 2026. For NDOT, there is 1 carryover and 64 new projects. The carryover is an IDIQ, which stands for Indefinite Description, Indefinite Quantity. That's a bridge project and allows NDOT to program funds and then later use them as needed for maintenance or emergencies. There are 27 new bridge rehabilitation, 7 interstate pavement rehabilitation projects, 7 non-interstate pavement rehabilitation projects, 19 drainage controls and small structure projects, 3 intersection improvements, and 1 lighting. Those are all new projects by NDOT. New projects or phases on the local side are for Griffith, intersection improvement, Hammond, and multi-use trail. LaPorte County has a new bridge and a bridge rehabilitation and a multi-use trail. Lake County has a bridge replacement and a bridge rehab. Maryville has an intersection improvement. Porter County has a new bridge. Valparaiso has a new multi-use trail. And Winfield has an intersection improvement. Carryover projects are for Burns Harbor with their multi-use trail and NICD, the South Shore line on security. City of LaPorte had 1 project, which was sidewalks, which they are deleting. And there was a substantial increase in funds for projects in LaPorte, which is intersection improvement, as well as Portage is a road reconstruction. Moving on, emergency amendment number 15. This is mainly an informational note to everyone. Emergency amendment number 15 for the 2020 to 2024 TIP. I know it kind of seems like we're going backwards here, but this amendment is for GPTC, Gary Public Transportation Corporation, so that they can write grants for 4 different projects. So in order for a transit operator to write grants, it has to be in the current TIP. So they're looking to write projects. The funds for all these projects are from 2018. So we needed to bring these projects from the 2018 to 2021 TIP to the current TIP, which is the 2020 to 2024 TIP, so that GPTC could get their grants in before these funds expire in September. And that's it.
Does anybody have any questions for Charles? Not hearing or seeing anybody. The TPC recommended approval of resolution 2114 and 2115, or for the emergency transit amendment number 15. And of course, this is all part of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Michael Griffin of Highland moves that the matters on the consent agenda be approved.
Okay, we have a to approve. Do we have a second?
I will. I'll second that. I'll second. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the consent, excuse me, on the consent agenda items from either Finance and Personnel or the Technical Planning Committee? Hearing none, please proceed with the roll call.
Yes. Dwayne Arndt,
Yes.
thank you. Jeanette Baps,
Aye.
Janet Beck,
Aye.
thank you. Jeff Benson,
Aye.
thank you. Jim Biggs,
Aye.
thank you. Kevin Brightsky,
Yes.
thank you. Robert Carnahan, Robert,
Yes.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Jocelyn Denham, Jocelyn Denham, Tom Dermody,
Aye.
John Derwinski,
Aye.
thank you. Dinah Dumbrus,
Aye.
thank you. Bill Emerson? No. Michael Griffin,
Aye.
thank you. Richard Hardaway,
Yes.
thank you.
Unable to move, experiencing a general weakness, lethargic.
Justin Keel,
Aye.
thank you. Andrew Kiris,
Yes.
thank you. Sue Lynch,
Yes.
thank you. Sheila Matias,
Aye.
thank you. Wendy Miss,
Votes yes.
thank you. Matt Murphy,
Aye.
thank you. David Peeler,
Aye.
thank you. Jim Pressel,
Aye.
thank you. Jerome Prince,
Yes.
thank you. Rick Rifa,
Yes.
thank you. Tom Schmidt,
Yes.
thank you. Greg Stinson,
Yes.
thank you. Jim Tunn,
Yes.
thank you. And George Topple,
Yes.
thank you. 27 voting yes.
Hi, can you hear me? This is Bill Emerson.
Oh, I didn't. Thank you, Bill. Nice to hear your voice.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
I've been here the whole time, but I think I've been muted trying to contact you guys. So thank you.
Oh, well, sorry for the inconvenience, but thank you. So that gives us 28 voting yes.
Yes.
Excellent. We have 28 yes, none opposed, and we have a quorum. So the consent agenda passes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
We canceled the next TPC meeting that was scheduled for Tuesday, August 10th, because South Shore Clean Cities Conference was on the same day. If we need to have a meeting, we'll arrange for one, but we didn't want to compete with the South Shore Clean Cities Conference. So we'll have more information for that future meeting, whether it's in person or a virtual meeting. That'll be shared no less than 1 week before.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Brightsky. I think that's a fine idea.
And here again, thank Mr. Emerson for doing double duty this morning. He's supposed to be also officiating at the Kankakee River meeting at 10 o'clock in Shelby. That's
Surveyor Brightsky, thank you for covering for me on that. I'm actually sitting outside of the Shelby Fire Department getting ready to go into that meeting. So we trying to make it work on my phone, and it didn't quite work the way I wanted to, but thank you.
I appreciate it, and I'm sure the rest of us do too, Bill. Thank you.
Absolutely, Bill. Thank you very much for that extra effort. We certainly appreciate it. You made our quorum. All right. Thank you very much. We we have passed the consent agenda items, and thank you, Mr. Stinson and Mr. Brightsky. Moving right along, the NERC Economic Development District Report. Dennery Kane, please take it away and let us know what's up.
As Ty mentioned, we have launched the Recover Northwest Indiana Regional Revolving Loan Fund. I believe the commissioners were all sent a copy of the flyer. We're asking for your assistance in posting that on your municipal websites. We have sent this to the LIDO organizations in the 3-county area and have also asked that they assist us with advertising. There's been social media posts as well as press release issued, and our online application that we launched has been working. We have 2 applicants that are in the process of applying, and we hope there'll be several more so that we can get this money loaned out. So we'd appreciate any efforts you can assist with publicizing the new program and what have you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions of Ms. Kane before we move on?
Mr. Chairman, Michael Griffin, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Dennery, thank you for the report. Is the flyer available on the website to download? Because I didn't see it in my packet.
Yes, if you go to the portion of the website on economy and on the new program, there's a link to the flyer there.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dennery.
Mr. Griffin, I just emailed it to you. I
Oh, you
happen to
did?
have it on my screen. Yes.
Thank
Because I
you.
wanted to post it to our website. I quick pulled it up.
Thank you
So
very
you should
much.
have it in your inbox.
You're
Thank
such a good colleague to me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is what we love. Clerk treasurers working together.
That's right.
What it's all about.
Wonderful cooperation. Attitude is everything.
In case it did get buried in your, excuse me.
No,
in
I
case it
got
did
it.
get buried-
Thank you.
Great. In case it did get buried in your inboxes, we did send out a notice about the program, including a link to the flyer to all the commissioners, whenever that was, Dennery, sometime last week, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was July 8th.
Thank you. So if you look through for July 8th, you should all have that.
If you have businesses in your community, I would encourage them to also contact me by phone so I can go over some of the particulars with them prior to them submitting their online application information.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Adam Parkhouse, sitting in for Matt Deachley, the LaPorte District Deputy Commissioner for INDOT. Adam, please tell us what you have to say.
Good morning, everybody. Matt sends along his apologies. He had something come up this morning and was not able to join. I will do my best to be as engaging as lively as he typically is. We're in the middle of a very busy construction season. I believe we've given some numbers on that in past meetings. It's actually the busiest construction season in district history. We have 264 total projects. Around 20% of our bridges are being touched this year, representing about $250 million in investment in just district roadways alone. Along 94, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed we've got a lot of stuff going on 94. I'm happy to report that everything through that corridor is on schedule at this point. And we have a lot of work over toward the state line, and then another bridge bundle that's just about to get started over there between State Road 49 and State Road 249. 2 lanes of traffic will be maintained throughout that project. Community crossings, the second call of the year is now open. Hopefully everybody's hard at work on their applications for that second call. Earlier this year, as I'm sure most people here are aware, NDOT awarded a little bit more than $100 million to 218 different LPAs throughout the state. So if you, I believe that call will close on Friday, July 30th. So I get those applications in, and obviously reach out if you have any difficulties. The last thing I wanted to mention, we have a series of public information meetings. Some of you may or may not be aware, NDOT has launched a Pell study for the Borman Expressway, specifically trying to figure out how to manage congestion along the Borman, and looking at options for installation of different intelligent transportation system items, things like hard shoulder running ramp metering, et cetera, are kind of all on the table. But for those who aren't aware what a Pell study is, Pell is Planning and Environmental Linkages Study, which is hyper-focused on public involvement. So we're getting that process started now, along with our consultant, Parsons, on this one. We have 2 in-person public information meetings and then a virtual option. The first in-person is Wednesday, July 28th, from 3 to 6 p.m. at Gary 21st Century Charter School. And then on Thursday, July 29th, also from 3 to 6 p.m. at Purdue Northwest and Alumni Hall over in Hammond. And then there is a WebEx virtual meeting on Tuesday, August 3rd, between 5 and 6:30 p.m. Don't worry, I'll drop all this in the chat here when I'm done yapping. And if anybody has any information or wants any more information or wants any more details on what's going on there, please feel free to reach out to myself or Matt. We can provide some answers there. And if not, please help us spread the word on this. We definitely want to get feedback from the public on the best ways that we can look to manage congestion along the Borman. Obviously, that's something that affects everybody on this call at one point or another. And so that's, again, that's coming up here at the end of July, and then a virtual meeting at the beginning of August. So that's all I got for now. I'm happy to entertain any questions, any of those topics, or any other questions that anybody might have.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Bretsky.
Mr. Parkhouse, do you have a schedule for the US 30 Pell or planning for the US 30 corridor?
Not yet. I believe the RFP went out for that in the last month or so. I don't believe we have a consultant selected for that yet. It's my understanding that we hope to have a better idea on timeline of that sometime around the first part of 2022, when that'll really kind of formally get launched.
Oh, okay, the first I heard of it was back in February. So
yeah.
You mentioned the other Pell grant or Pell study. I just
sure. Yeah, we're in the process of selecting a consultant for both the US 30 Pell and the US 31 Pell, and then hopefully the first part of 2022 we'll have a better idea of timeline on those.
And congratulations on your traffic control up here in Northwest Indiana. I was down in Noblesville last weekend, and getting across on 26 and doing 31 was just ridiculous.
Well,
what it is, but I have no issues up here. So
we like to hear that. That's great. Sorry about your experience down in Noblesville.
I think everybody was having the same experience. So
very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions for Mr. Parkhouse? Hearing none, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Parkhouse, for stepping in and doing a fine job. Keep up the good work, and we'll be looking for those orange barrels.
We got plenty of them. Don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item is other business. Is there any other business? Going once, going twice, hearing none, we're moving on to announcements. Mr. Carnahan, have you any announcements today?
Yes, Cedar Lake Townwide Yard Sale will be Saturday, August the 7th. And the other thing is they're supposed to release 2020 census data in August. Hopefully that comes out and every city and town has good numbers.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other announcements?
Mr. Chairman, this may have been something raised before, but I want to commend NERC, your leadership, and Ty and the staff. I see that we now have closed captioning as part of our virtual meeting. That was not something we were able to do when I was convening. So this is nice, and it actually gets what I'm saying pretty well.
Well, thank you for the comment, Mr. Griffin. Appreciate all that you've done for NERC and Northwest Indiana. Are there any other announcements? Hearing none, this time I'll Did I hear something? Okay, we'll move along to the next item, which is the moment you've been waiting for, the adjournment. I'll entertain a motion.
You have it.
We've got one.
Second,
Done.
Jeff Benson seconds.
And we have a second with there being no further business and no objections. The meeting is concluded. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything. Wish you all well. God bless.
Thank you all for attending today.
Peace.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Good to see you all again.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.